Good day, everyone. This is King B with another video on this brisk, chilly afternoon. So we are in the beginning. We are in the holiday season, middle of the holiday seasons. Hope everyone is safe out there. Drive carefully out there. All right. But let's get into these holidays. Let's talk about these holidays, right? Some say rooted in paganism, right? Yesterday was just Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving, we know Thanksgiving, about the massacre that happened in Mystic, Connecticut. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up, right? Some say that's where Thanksgiving started. The massacre, and I made a video on that. So, you can look on my channel, and one of my older videos I talked about that. The Pequot Indians, that happened in Mystic, Connecticut. But and not long after that, Thanksgiving became a national holiday. But actually, Thanksgiving was something that the churches would celebrate. And each church celebrated, they called a day of Thanksgiving for a number of reasons. It wasn't on a set holiday. For example, if they went to war and invaded one of the indigenous tribes, and they came back and they had a victory, then the church will call a day of Thanksgiving for that. And it was something that was done, by random, by each church. And then after the massacre in Mystic, Connecticut, not long after that, it was called into a national, it was Lincoln called a national holiday. It became a holiday, but we know about that. And we got Christmas coming up, all right? And Christmas, of course, is Saturnalia. Saturnalia, which is originally about a 2-week festival where they partake in all kinds of rituals. Look up Saturnalia if you don't know what Saturnalia is. Saturnalia comes from that. Well, Christmas, I should say, comes from Saturnalia, But also, when you dig deeper, you'll find out that, they really just took, our ancestors, some practices, and switched it up and changed it into their own. It's my opinion that we have been giving them too much credit. They really have no originality. Everything is energy, and I've said that and before, right? In a lot of my videos, everything is energy. You think about good and evil. It's not so much about good and evil. It's not about good and evil. It's about energy and manipulating the energy. Manipulating the energy in order to alchemize or make what you want, your reality. So they have been manipulating the energy. Especially they still do it now till this day, right? Especially during the solstices, You know, spring solstice come up, something happens. They do a ritual on a large scale, you know, and they harvest the energy. Same thing with the winter solstice, you know, right? And that's what it's about. It's about manipulating the energy in order to keep their reality going. This current system that we are still up under, which is now crashing because a lot of people are becoming aware or are ready to accept being aware, becoming aware. Because what happens is some people become aware and they don't like it, they don't want to deal with it. So they choose to go back to sleep. Kind of like in the Matrix movie. The Matrix movie, and I don't remember the name of the character, but he chose to meet up with Agent Smith and have a nice steak dinner. He chose to get right back into the system, you know. And some do that. Some people do that. They choose to live in this false reality. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to wake up and become aware because it's not pretty. It's the, you know, this life, when you choose to become aware and you research and you go deep within yourself and, you know, you're finding out truth or you remembering the truth, it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And some choose to, they just can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? They can't handle it. You know? So once again, we're coming up on Christmas. Saturnalia, just going on top of my head, used to be about a 2-week festival where they'll partake in different rituals. Again, look it up for yourself. Okay? Santa Claus, right? You got Santa Claus in a tree. And the funny thing about Santa Claus, right? You have something called claustrum, right? In your brain. Right? It's like the claustrum is like a membrane that goes between, you know, that's in your brain. And look it up, claustrum. All right, just put in claws. And is one word, claustrum. CLAUSTROM, I believe is how it's spelled. Look up claustrum. Okay, so you got claustrum. You got Santa Claus, right? Claus, short for claustrum. Santa Claus live up at the North Pole. That's your brain, right? You got the Christmas tree. If you look up, if you go online and you Google an image of a brain, a skeleton of a brain, right, with the spinal cord and still attached and the, you know, and all the nerves in this other body. If you Google that picture, you are going to see, if you look at it, it's going to look just like a tree. You are the tree. See, like I said, it's about, you have to, the symbolism all around us, everything is about symbolism. It's about reminding us, your job is to remember who you are. Remember who you are. You know, as above, so below, as within, as without. Everything is you. Everything. It all comes back to you. Everything comes back to you. All right? You know, we have to take our power back and stop giving, you know, these wicked beings, stop giving them our power. We have to take our power back. Remember who we are. Stop giving them power. All they've done is take our ancestors' knowledge, right, and practices, and use them to serve their agenda. Just like the ancient scrolls. They destroyed and burned a lot of scrolls and just kept the ones that they can manipulate to serve their agenda. That's all. And out of that came what you call the Bible. That's it. That's all. That's all. Okay? Yeah. And I was watching a short video of the brother Conscious Juice. Check his channel out on YouTube, Conscious Juice. He put out a lot of information, a lot of good information, Conscious Juice. And he put out a short video where someone was, I don't know what this individual was, but they was just asking random people, did they believe in Jesus, right? And wherever this individual was, there was a lot of Caucasians, and all of the Caucasians said no, they don't believe in Jesus Christ, right? And then he saw a sister, and he asked her, and of course she said yes, she was the only one, right? Check that video out, but you got to understand something. They know what the truth is, a lot of people still think that Jesus Christ, is a name, right? Some people think that, first name Jesus, last name Christ. No, Christ, Christos, Christos is anointed oil, okay? Kundalini energy, that serpentine fire that sits at the bottom of your spine. That's supposed to rise and travel up up your spine. You got 33 vertebrae in your spine. Christ died at the age of, was crucified, 33, right? So again, everything, you are everything, and everything is you. It's like that oldie but goodie song, right? You are everything and everything is you. So again, this is about remembering who you are. Now, there's a lot of people who's going to look at this video and, not care at all what I'm talking about, but this video is not for the majority. This video and most of my videos is for the select few who's ready to accept the truth, who's doing the work. Just stay strong out there, stay strong. You're all right. You're exactly where you need to be. You're supposed to be. Just keep doing the work. All right. Do not allow yourself to become discouraged. Love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Protect the babies, the little ones, the women and men. You know what I say. You know what we gotta do. You know what it is. We need to band together, stand for what's right. Right. Look out for each other. Watch each other's backs. Protect our households. Protect our communities. It is our responsibility. No one else's. All right. Stay warm. Stay safe. Be careful out there. To the next video. Peace.